Oh my God. Okay. So on to my favorite, which is makeup. This is my favorite foundation. It's so cheap, but it literally lasts all day. Also, I thought I was recording and I wasn't, but I switched my clips from this to this, and thank God I had them because I didn't even know. See, it kind of leaves a divot, and if you're using these with the plastic, it's smooth on the side that everybody sees, right? So I'm gonna replace them while I do my makeup. I just replace them with these yellow ones just to see if it kind of smooths it out. I'm not necessarily mad at the divots it created. I think it kind of adds a cool texture to the look, but I'm just curious to see if while I do my makeup, I leave that there, what will it do? Because I do feel like my hair is 85% dry. So good news is it dried really fast. So as long as you're patient with the styling, the good news is it doesn't take a long time for it to dry. Okay. And I go in with my foundation. Like, I also have so many brushes now. My sister is a makeup queen and she just gave me a bunch of brushes that she doesn't use. So I'm gonna use something smaller to go into the smaller parts or the more detailed parts of the face, which is the eyes, the creases, the inside, under the, on the side of the noses. So I'm just gonna go in on it just to make sure I have full coverage. I'm usually, because I love makeup, I usually do my makeup first, then my hair. But because I wanted to see how long the hair would take to set, I decided to do the styling of the front of the ponytail first. So yeah, so like I said, that L'Oreal foundation has like great coverage, invaluable. I like to go a little darker because of stage. So this one is 105. I'm also going to, after my makeup, I'm gonna put some body tanner on. So it's gonna match a lot nicer than what it is right now. Cause you see I'm really pale, but when I'm done with this whole makeover, I'm gonna be darker. Also, I love Studio Fix, so I like to go a little bit lighter in certain parts already to create the contour I want. So I like to go lighter here. I put a little here, put a little around my nose already, under my eye. This is not concealer, this is foundation. And obviously you see the tone is much lighter than my foundation. But sometimes I literally, instead of doing this, I literally mix. I mix the light with the dark because you see how different they are as far as tone goes. So that's one. Right now what I'm doing is just one method, but I have done it to where I have poured both into my brush and create a color, a single color. But right now I just want to be really dramatic with the shaping of the face. So I'm gonna go this route for this video purpose. And one more spot that I forgot is the eyelid. I like my eyelids to be a lighter color as the foundation of my eyeshadow application. So you can already see how it's already highlighting me where I wanted to highlight, which is under here on my nose. And people have different techniques because I know as the years go by, techniques for makeup change. But this is what I have found that works for me, especially on stage. I also love doing my makeup in front of a window, really strong sunlight, not beaming at me, of course. Right now it's perfectly hitting my trees, but I like it because stage lighting is harsh. So I like to see kind of like what I'm gonna look like on stage, with that strong lighting. If you don't have it, then obviously I recommend like a ring type of lighting that really illuminates all of you. Not really down lighting. If you have recessed lighting in your room, that doesn't really help you. You need light that comes right at you. Okay, so I'm gonna keep playing around with the lighter color until I get the coverage I want. I'm also gonna go in with the sponge now. The sponge, you do lose some of the product into the sponge, whereas the brush, I feel like you get more product on your face, but there's nothing like a blending sponge. And I do taps. I never shouldn't say never. 95% of the time, I'm dabbing my face with a blending sponge. I do my foundation first because I like to have my canvas already. Some people like to do their eyes first, then their foundation. I have found for me that doesn't work because I sometimes, when I do my foundation first, I know exactly how much eyeshadow and all the other products I actually need. I like to see my Canva first, you know? So, and as far as concealer, I kid you not, again, L'Oreal comes for the win. I have really deep dark circles. That's inherited. I try using creams and things like that, but it is what it is. That's the DNA I got, the genes I got. So I go in with the coverage. You can tell I don't put like a lot of product at once because I want to see. I live in Nevada, so like my skin can be really dry, and sometimes if it's really moisturized, like this, the makeup just sets differently, you know. So if you think that's a lot, then maybe you think that's a lot, but I don't think I put a lot of stuff at once. I like to build. I like to put enough where I think it's the coverage I need, but not more. So I would say build, and obviously I'm doing stage makeup, but I would say day to day and even stage, it's better to build than to start off with too much, because then that's when you look cakey, like you have a mask on. So now I finally feel like I'm getting there, especially down here. So I was gonna say, especially down here is what I struggle with in my face. And then the product I put on my nose, I go upward into my T-zone. And I do like, if I do brush the sponge in my face, it's around my eyebrows. I do want this area right here to be a little lighter than the rest of my forehead. And I go light right here, kind of like an apple, not apple, like lime size shape, at least in my face. That's what that works. I keep the foundation color right here, you see, so it's already creating a, some people like to go down with their light. I like to stay a little bit higher up. I put a little bit of product right here on the apple of the cheek of the apple, I don't know. Just a little, but the lighter I focus under the eye and out. Right now, the hairstyle doesn't allow it, but if it did, I would be going light all the way. Okay, almost done. And over the lips too. Again, probably out of order. You know, I never really watched anyone do this first, but I like to literally do my canvas first. So I'm gonna go for this one broke, but this is a great, what did I just call it? Not highlighter. Basically to carve out my face. I like this a lot. So I combine all the three colors that I have. Obviously I want to be a little bit darker here, but I really go gentle. I don't go in because I already have that color from the foundation anyway. So I'm going to go gentle strokes upwards for now. So you can already see that the product's already there a little bit. And I'm going to draw a very light shade right here to create this chisel right here. This will like kind of like thins out your face. And now I go upward. So that you can see the difference, right? And that's enough for me. I don't need to go more than that. Upward first. Light, light, light over here. Like it feels like a tickle. Look in the mirror. Now I go downward and kind of like blend. So like if I created this line, I go slightly above it and blend it downward. So a little bit of the product goes in the area I'm touching, but I'm going down with it. And same thing here, I do go down too a little, so it doesn't feel like a line and it's too fake. All right, I love this. Like this, for me, the nose, I don't have a super skinny nose, so I do love, actually Sir John, who's Beyonce's makeup artist, taught us this trick back when I did a tour with Beyonce, and it's the contouring, that's the word I was looking for. It's right here, you know. I do go farther down, but this is where I go darker, or shouldn't say darker, more product. Right there. Is this the bridge of the nose? Is that what it's called? And then I go downward with I just basically do all kinds of stroke. So I blend the product, upward, downward, sideways. So it's more of a natural shade or shadow. Then I go back to like the thicker brush, a lighter color, flare on my nose, and that's it. Some people like to go with this. I feel like it's too abrupt on me. I may use this to blend it, like I blend it downward, but I don't really, me personally, my shape of nose, I use the brush for this part. Okay, then I squeeze. This brush is already like thin, kind of like oval shaped, right? In this shape, but I squeeze it even more so it's narrower. And I go in there on my crease. I like the blending brush too, the other brush that I showed, but this one, I don't know. I kind of adjusted to this and I like it because it's such a broad area that it's covering that it gives me more coverage, but a little bit more, I don't even want to use the word natural because nothing what I'm doing is natural. That's why I'm putting makeup on, but you know, it's just, it doesn't feel linear. It feels more like a broader, right? Like if I go like this, you can't really tell. If I go like this, you see the color. So I just like a broader area. Then me personally, I'm gonna focus kind of like on that Marilyn look. Lighter color here, a little here, very little here, but lighter, lighter, lighter. If you have white, use white. That works great. That's what Marilyn's makeup artist used to use. I got this little set from MAC. I love, love, love. This one doesn't have white, so this one has like a little light pink, but I love the browns that it has. I'm gonna go with this white right here, Christian Dior. So now I'm gonna use a brush. Like this one is a blending brush, right? I'm gonna use a more concentrated brush. Whether it looks like this, pointier like this, you kind of got to find, like you see the difference, right? This is a blending brush. This one is more concentrated. So I'm going to go with this. A lot of people too, like when they use white on their eyes, they will wet the brush and the white will show up a little bit better. So you can try that. I found the white I really like, and that's Tom Ford. Tom Ford has a really, really good white. Now, I'm more of a matte type of girl. I don't really like a lot of shimmer in my eye, me personally. You may, so you can. You can certainly use something with a shimmer, but I like more matte. I just like a little bit, I haven't done it yet, but a little bit of highlight over my eye. And I'll also do a little tiny shimmer here just to open up my eyes because I have sunken eyes, almond shape. So, and you know, like you can see it, I don't even like need a lot of brown on my crease because I already did that with the contour, right? But I'm gonna go in there first with a tighter brush like this, get like more of these like tones. And go right there on the crease just to make that a little bit bolder, the separation between the white and the brown. You see? So it just gives a little definition. If you do like this where it's too bold, just keep working through it. You can always go into your blending brush. You can use your finger to like lessen the real estate and blend it that way. But yeah, I like that definition, you know, very Marilyn. Obviously, I love her. I'm gonna go just a little down here. This brush I like because it's not too thin. You're not really like, wherever you, sometimes when the brush is too thin, wherever you brush is what you're committed to. This one has a little bit of a blending element. So wherever you put it, you see it, but it also blends. And I'm gonna go like here, just to give it a little wing. Just out a little, give it a little wing. A natural eyeshadow wing. Yeah, so you can kind of see the pole already. Okay, I'm gonna lay, like, I don't go hard on the eyeshadow, me personally. So I'm gonna take a rest. If I need to come back to it, I'll come back to it. Next, I'm gonna do my eyeliner. This is one of my favorite liquid eyeliners, Physicians Formula. I want to say I got it at Sephora or Ulta. I want to say Sephora. All right, I like to get up close and cozy with this, okay? But I go really thin on the inside, and right around, like if I'm looking forward, right around here where the middle of my pupil is, I start going a little bit thicker. Also, because of age, some of us have really like saggy or wrinkled, you know, on the corner, so you might want to pull it. I don't need to pull it yet. Sometimes it helps if I feel like my lines are wiggly, but I like to keep my eyes as relaxed as possible. Instead of pulling it in a shape that it doesn't really live in, I like to leave my eye as is, and I draw around it, right? So I'm gonna go really thin in the corner. And if there's one thing I don't rush, is the eyeliner. Mascara, I rush. Eyeliner, I don't. Okay, so you see how I'm going really, really thin? Right about here. And I always check. I always look at myself in the mirror. Like if I like what I'm seeing, right? Right about here, I start thickening it. I stop right about there. I already created a line that's already gonna go out away from the natural lash line. And that eyeshadow, natural cat eye that I created, I'm gonna use that as a reference and draw the line right on top of that. So you see where the shadow is? I'm gonna use that as a reference. And go right above it. I look in the mirror, make sure I like that. If I don't, erase and delete, right? You can always fix it. If you feel like it's too flat, you can go a little lower here with the eyeliner and go from a lower point to back to where you were. So I kind of like create the liner, and then if I like the shape, then I commit and fill it in. And this is the point that if I need to pull anything because the skin is sagging, then that's when I do it. The thing about this liquid liner, the only thing, it's a pro and a con, is that it dries really fast on the touch, which is why sometimes it takes a lot to actually for it to come out. But because it comes out slowly, you have more control. I've used eyeliners that are so delicious that as soon as you put it, it's like out there and it's bold. But those are the ones that usually mess up my makeup, or, you know, if God forbid, my eyes start watering, it's a mess. So this one feels very matted. It feels very like once it's in there, it's dry and it's in there and it doesn't move. So even though the application can take a little bit longer, to me, it's worth it. So now I'm in the same stage on the other side. I did thin on the inside and I start finding the shape that I like. Then I'll go in and fill in with the black. Okay, so that's like the final. I'm not scared of the eyeliner, you know, as long as I do my thin line on the inside about a third of the way in, I most likely will like what happens after that, because And because you kind of like see where the line is. And I used a very, very tip to make like little tiny corrections if I need to. So corrections need to be done slowly and literally with the tip of the eyeliner, okay? So that's that. I'm gonna use this mascara. This one, obviously this one is waterproof, but even the non-waterproof ones, I really don't have much of a problem with them. Okay, next I'm gonna go for eyebrows. I love Anastasia. That's, for me, it's the best. I don't have that right now. I cannot believe it. This is accident, actually. But the second best is, there's another one that I forgot the name. I'll remember it one day. But Maybelline. Maybelline, as long as you find your color, it does the job. It stays in there. So I go thicker at the bottom and then really light up top. I try to go up. And then if I need definition up top, I do a light line and that's it. And I keep going. When I worked for Tina Turner, that was the one thing. She was like, make your eyebrows long. It's like, keep going. So it's basically like the line here. That's technically where your eyebrow should end for beauty symmetry. So that's it. That's enough for me. Of course, if you're doing period eyebrows, if you really want to be true to it, the eyebrows are a little bit more rounded. I don't like that for my face. So I'm just going to stay with the up and the down. That's it. I know I do makeup totally backwards as far as the order goes, and I don't care. I'm gonna go with my light powder and reinforce what I did earlier, where I went lighter here, I went lighter here, I went lighter on my chin, lighter here on the side, lighter here on that T-zone, on my nose. Then I have a darker tone. I think this is 45, NC45. Take off the excess and go upward. So just kind of like sealing the work I did earlier with the contour. Sorry, here again. And see, like whatever the stroke is that I did, I do one, like if it's north and south, I do one east-west just to like buff it, right? Same thing on the nose, I lock it in, lock it in, lock in on the sides, hairline, sides. Neck with a darker one, because I am gonna put tanner on my body once I'm done with my makeup, so it will match. Okay. This right here is so cheap, and you find it at pharmacies, but it's literally my favorite setting powder. This right here saved lives. Like this, to me, plus the setting spray, is what makes the makeup look good for a long time. So I stack it in there. Don't be shy. Because even if you go, don't be shy, meaning like, of course, don't exaggerate it, but like don't put white in your whole freaking face. But even if you do a little too much, you can blend it down by just getting a clean brush and getting some of it off. And you can always go in also again with your darker powder if needed. All right, I'm gonna let that sit a little. Eyelash. What do I want to do? I usually go for lashes kind of like this, that have like a dual layer. Like if you look at it sideways, it kind of looks like it has this. This one has a natural curl to it. As far as glue goes, I love this one, but I don't know why every time I put it on, my left eye cannot stop crying for like an hour or so. So this is the little glue that the eyelash comes with. I'm gonna try that one and see if I feel a difference. Because if I do, then that tells me, sadly, the duo glue doesn't work for me. So once I put it on, you can blow on it, or I literally just set it on my counter and let it dry while I do the other one. Just make sure the glue doesn't touch the counter. But I want to make it, you want to make it sticky. Not that you can't put the eyelash with a wet glue on your eye, you can. It's a free country. But it's always easier when it's more sticky, and it gets stickier if it dries. So now I'm gonna pick it up. Now I'm gonna blow on it for the sake of this video, and I'm gonna apply it. When I apply it, I like to go from, like, I like to hover first to see that it's not gonna go too far in or too far out. So I hover. Once I see, like, I know I'm gonna have a good placement, especially not too far in. That's really uncomfortable. If you go too far out, of course that feels weird too, but too far in is like not it. So it's important to know how much you're cutting. I feel like I got a good placement. I put it in the middle. I don't glue the inside yet. I place it on the outside of my eye if I feel like I got a good placement there. Then I slightly pull it inward just for like a little tiny tug and tension. I put it in. When you glue your lash, it's better to be really close to the lash line. Of course, it sucks when you're too close and then you take it off at the end of the night and then your natural lashes come out. That always sucks. But you obviously want to glue the eyelash to where the eyeliner is. You don't want to glue your eyelash above the line you created with the liquid eyeliner. That way it's hidden, right? It's like you want makeup to look like magic, not like, oh, I see exactly what you did, you know? All right, so this is how we're looking. It's really pretty. It does have a curl. Now I'm gonna go with my brush, get rid of that white powder, go in a circle here, spread it out, circle, spread it out, outward, upward, and like a fountain. Okay, I'm happy with the coverage. I think I got what I wanted. Now blush. I'm in a phase now where I put the blush more outward. So my blush for me, I like tan colors, not really pink. This is Lovejoy by MAC. Again, MAC has some of the best products, right? So this is Lovejoy, and it has this like nice tan to it. So I lightly dab it, and I start, instead of staying, I don't start here, I start here, like in the middle of my cheekbone, and I go upward, and I blend it. I start there to see if that's enough for me. The pen is on the way, but you can get an idea. Do a little bit on my nose, whatever's left on the brush. I don't re-dip it. Whatever's left, I put it on my nose just so I look tan. Then I'm gonna do it here. I'm gonna start on my forehead. Hairline, I move the product down. Again, my hair's on the way, but if it wasn't, I would be going all the way to my temple. And I go gentle because I don't want to look like a cartoon either. Like, you can always build, you know? And if you feel like you want some on the cheek, I really go light. I smile, outward, smile, outward. I don't know, that's enough for me. And then I go under here just to get that jaw definition. Some people do that with contour, you can. I just want to get that sun-kissed, healthy. I just went on a vacation, you know? The other thing I like to do, talking about sun-kissed and all of that, whatever that bronze was or blush that I put on, I do like to go into my eye with it, just to create a color balance. So yeah, that's it, you see? And that's my blending brush, so I don't go hard and I don't put a lot of product. A lot of this goes a really long way. This is a really, really good product. A little really, really goes a long way. White eyeliner should never go away because it literally changes the way your eye looks. But you see this versus That. It just opens up the eye, you know? And I'm gonna define it even more with eyeshadow. Or you can use it, even use your contour product to go in there. So I'm gonna get another type of blending brush, and I'm gonna go in with this. I'm gonna go in with a lighter orangey, like it has a yellow orange tone. See, I squeeze the brush, and that way I have more control, but it's still a blending brush. So this, you control the precision, but because there's so many bristles, I guess that's what it's called, or hairs on the brush, it'll still do a really nice job blending things. I like to go a little bit farther in just to give my eye a little bit more dimension. And you see how that white just pops. So I don't go dark. Me, personally, I don't go really dark underneath. Whatever tone I use, I would never use this underneath my eyes. I go with lighter tones. And this I'll go on top of everything just to give like a buff, an overall buff. And it just kind of like blends nicely from the white, from the orangey brown tone to a lighter brown to my white, right? Not white, but lighter underneath my eyes. So that's that. So I'm happy with that. Now I'm gonna go into my lips. Okay, for lips, I love Morphe. Morphe, I think it's called Morphe. I love, love, love. I love the tone. This one is Color Pencil Crayon Rouge. Okay, hold on. Makeup Talk? Maybe that's what the color is called, Makeup Talk. So this is the color I like for me. I always use this on the outside of my lips. So for me, I overdraw. That natural white line that you have outside of your lips, that's where I go. And then I smile, because when you smile, you see the little cracks in between. My dog is dreaming. If you hear someone screaming, that's her. She's passed out. Okay, now I'm gonna color from the border, from the tip of my lip inward. It creates a natural pout. I'll show you. You see? Right? So I stop right about here, like a fourth into my lip. Okay? And now in the middle, I go in and very light. So I do a line in like this, and then really light from the clean border that I created downward into my lip, but really, really light. You see? And then same thing down here. Cool. So that's like my outside. The inside, I choose a lighter color. Yeah, it has like a little pink tone to it. So now I'm mixing colors because, in the sense that my hair is vintage style, my makeup is very modern, right? Because otherwise I would have, if I was going vintage, I would have to do round eyebrows, you know, shape my eyelids a little bit different. But when it comes to makeup, I like what I like. And of course, like a bold red lip. But I'm going for neutral tones. Okay. Love it. For me, I would like for it to be lighter. So there is a Gucci shade that I love, Linda Beige, and I love this one. So I'm gonna go on top. Of course you can blend it like this, like that's easy. I like to control These lips for me are, I don't know, important. So I use a little lip brush to blend. Because remember, I did dark, right? A quarter of my lip. So I want the light to stay in the center. And I'm blending it outward. If you don't have a lipstick like this, like Gucci, you know what works really well is concealer. You can literally put a dab of concealer on the dot and on the top. Use your finger if you don't have a brush like this, and then use the brush to spread the concealer out. It's a cheap, you don't have to spend money on the Gucci. I love this lipstick, don't get me wrong. You can totally spend money on it. But if you don't have it, if you're like, no, I need to do my makeup right now, I don't have that. All right, the other thing I like is Anastasia's highlighters. MAC has great ones too. This one is really pretty. I like to do it on the tip of my nose. That's enough for me. And I like to do a little bit on the top of the cheek where the bronzer met with that setting powder that I put earlier. I like to do it right on my eyebrow so it gets a little bit of the bottom of the eyebrow early. So remember earlier, I didn't do that with eyeshadow. I did my white eyeshadow under my eyebrow, but then I go with this brush with the highlighter and I literally do it right on top. So I get the top and the bottom of the eyebrow with a little highlighter. I have a friend who taught me to put a little, like before I put the lipstick, to put a little bit of the highlighter here. So if it were, I'll show you, I can do it right here. And it shows up better when you do it like before the lipstick. Really like that tip right here. Some people like to do it right on top of the nose. I like my nose tip. That's enough for me. But yeah, that is it. With the tanning, I feel like it's going to match better, but that's what it looks like. So it's not natural, but it's not, in my opinion, of course everyone's different, it's not too dramatic. If you feel like you need to blend, get that brush again, you know, blend things a little bit better. Looking at your makeup from different perspectives, you know, if you have a mirror, moving the mirror slightly just so you see it from this light, you know, just moving things slightly to make sure you have blended face, like a nice and even, not even as far as color, because obviously this color is so different than this, but that the in-between is not so drastic that you're, you know, like this from here to here is a difference, so I would blend it right there. From this color to this color is a difference, I would blend it right there, you know, so right where the two colors meet. But yeah, I'm happy with it.